tell us a little bit about what you guys have done in the cloud. Either we can ultimately get to finance, but in even other areas in CRM or HCM, et cetera.
So we've gone through a bit of an evolution as an organization. We started with the first wave of cloud by using a CRM product on the marketing side. And that was like 4 years ago. And the business people made the case to me that there's going to be a true ROI on this, and there's going to be cost savings. And for everybody in this room, cloud doesn't always translate to true money cost savings. And I think that was the biggest surprise to me as a CFO, saying, where's the money? Show me the money. And it isn't always there. But I think for me that was a bit of a learning, because what it did for me was say, okay, how do I measure that return on that investment? And what came out of that was, let's look at the value is created. How many people have you been able to get the information to in the organization? And so that was a bit of a mindset change for us. We went to the second wave and said, okay, let's get some point solutions for cloud. And we got the system for expense reporting, and we got one for time reporting, and a couple of other point solutions. And we went through that wave and said, okay, we feel we are on the cloud. But the one thing we were missing there was we didn't have, again, the same thing we were looking for across organization, which was having people get access to the information when they needed it. And so we said, we got to rethink this third wave of what we want cloud to be. And we needed to make sure not only is the information on the cloud, but they get it when they need it. And that goes back to some of the early comments you made about mobile and some of the cross-platform things that are important to us. So we're, at this point, we've transitioned to an integrated cloud solution, which covers all of finance, covers all of HR, has taken some of the point solutions and brought them in to the cloud. And that is what I call in a public cloud. We also have what is an internal cloud system, which is for our asset management systems, which is our core business, which are the creative content we create. And that's more within the four walls of the organization. And that has been, again, a bit of a challenge, because it's, as a CFO, you're saying, well, why do I need to have my own IT department have an internal cloud? And you have the creative folks saying, this is about protection of our information and our creative assets, and we don't want it out on the cloud. So I know we'll talk a little more about security in the future, but that's, I think, the next wave of we have to decide what we're going to do there.
Ed, you had mentioned that you guys have basically, is it a redeployment of your traditional on-prem financials?
Yes.
In the cloud?
Yep, we replaced our traditional ERP system by going to a cloud-based product.
I see. So you did a replacement at
Yes.
WGBH.
Yeah.
Ed, you as SGS, did you merely migrate an on-prem Oracle footprint to a hosted cloud version, or what has been the transition for you?
No, we went to a brand new application and moved to it. We're actually running the R12 version of Oracle Financials, which is still not the Fusion piece of it. And my goal is to move towards more of a Fusion approach, where I think in order to be a true cloud system, you don't have a version. So whatever is up there today is up there today. And what I think it'll do is, like, I just went through the R12 migration this summer, which just took a countless amount of resources, and it takes them away from doing things that are more valuable to the organization. So if you can move to the Fusion piece of it, just like Office 365 or whatever's out there, you get away from migrating from Office 2003 to 2007 to 2010. It's just there every day. It's a bit of a challenge with the world accepting it, because people don't like things changing without them realizing it.
So you're at a kind of a phase of your rollout, because you're not yet Fusion, where there still could be some version management issues.
There is, which I think is my goal, is to get away from that piece of it.
The primary driver, believe it or not, was not so much about the technology itself. It was primarily driven by the fact that we wanted the information to be available to people in the business when they needed it, and so that they could use it. And so The one thing that really attracted us with the cloud offerings was the usability aspect of it. That was very important to us, that the usability and the flexibility of getting that information when they needed it was going to drive this decision. And then the other challenge as CFOs we have is, having one truth to that information. And one of the things we all went through was we went to the traditional ERP systems and we lost control. And we still don't have that one point of truth for the information. And so the key was to get the information, because information, I believe, is power. And so it was important for me to make sure everybody had access to that information to drive value in the organization. And they were going to use it, because in the ERP world, I was having a really hard time getting people to use the system because it was clumsy, it was not easily usable. So that was some of the reasons we did it.
Yeah. Some recent research that we've conducted, suggests that one of the biggest drivers is a recognition that you have all these islands of automation in finance. You got this one over here, you got this one over here, you got this one over here, and the need to come up with one sense of the truth, and the shift toward an evolved role of finance, from the guy who closes the books to a much broader mandate that includes you're the compliance officer, you're one of the chief strategists in the firm, and how yesteryear's systems really haven't been able to support this broader mandate. Is that consistent?
Yeah, no, very much so. I think the CFO's role is very much changed from being the bean counter to driving the execution of the strategy and measuring the ability to perform against that strategy. So we can't just sit on the sides and say, you've come up with a strategy, Mr. CEO, go ahead and figure out how to execute it. We're in the seat, making sure that execution is happening and the performance is happening against those benchmarks that we measure against.